Today, I want to share with you a story that is simple and easy for everyone to understand. It is about a boy named Ethan and his journey to learn English. Through his experiences, you will see how he tackled different challenges and what methods he used to become confident in speaking, reading, and writing English. Whether you are just starting to learn English or have been practicing for some time, this story will inspire you and provide practical ideas to improve your language skills. Now, let's begin Ethan's story. Once upon a time in a small town, there lived a boy named Ethan. Ethan was a curious and cheerful boy who loved to explore new things. He enjoyed playing with his friends, reading comics, and watching cartoons. However, there was one thing that often made him feel frustrated: his struggle with learning English. Ethan's school required all students to study English, but he found it difficult to understand the lessons. The grammar rules confused him, the vocabulary seemed endless, and speaking in English made him nervous. He often avoided participating in class because he feared making mistakes. One day, Ethan's teacher, Miss Clara, noticed his struggles. She called him after class and asked, "Ethan, why do you look so worried during English lessons?" Ethan hesitated, but eventually admitted, "Miss Clara, I want to learn English, but it feels so hard. I don't know where to start." Miss Clara smiled warmly and said, "Learning English can be a fun and exciting journey, Ethan. Let's take it step by step. Remember, it's okay to make mistakes. They help us learn." Miss Clara gave Ethan some advice. Start with something you enjoy, like reading your favorite stories or watching cartoons in English. You'll learn new words and phrases naturally. Ethan nodded, feeling a spark of hope. He decided to give it a try. The beginning of Ethan's journey. That evening, Ethan picked up his favorite comic book series, The Adventures of Max and Mia. Instead of reading it in his native language, he borrowed an English version from the library. At first, it was challenging. He had to look up many words in the dictionary, but he didn't give up. Slowly, he began to understand the story. The next day, Ethan shared his progress with Miss Clara. She encouraged him and suggested a new activity: keeping a vocabulary journal. Write down the new words you learn each day and try to use them in sentences, she said. Ethan took her advice seriously. He carried a small notebook with him everywhere and wrote down interesting words he encountered. For example, he learned the word adventure from his comic book and wrote, "Going to the park with my friends is an adventure." The power of practice. As weeks passed, Ethan's confidence grew. He started speaking short sentences in English with his friends and family. At first, he made many mistakes, but he laughed them off and kept trying. His friends supported him, often correcting his grammar gently. Miss Clara introduced another activity to help Ethan improve his reading and listening skills. She recommended an audiobook version of The Adventures of Max and Mia. Ethan listened to it while following along in his comic book. Hearing the correct pronunciation and intonation helped him understand the flow of the language. One day, Ethan discovered an English song on the radio. He loved the tune and decided to learn the lyrics. With Miss Clara's help, he translated the song and practiced singing it. It became his favorite way to learn new words and phrases. Overcoming challenges. Despite his progress, Ethan faced moments of doubt. During a school competition, he had to deliver a short speech in English. He practiced for days, but when the moment arrived, his nerves took over, and he stumbled on his words. After the event, Ethan felt disheartened. "Maybe I'm not good enough," he thought. Miss Clara reminded him, "Every mistake is a step toward improvement. You were brave to try, and that's what matters. Let's work on your confidence together." She suggested Ethan join an English conversation club where students practice speaking in a friendly environment. Ethan was hesitant at first, but decided to give it a chance. There, he met other students who shared similar struggles. They practiced dialogues, played word games, and encouraged each other. Ethan realized he wasn't alone in his journey. Achieving success months turned into a year, and Ethan's hard work paid off. He could read storybooks without constantly using a dictionary, write essays with fewer mistakes, and hold conversations in English with ease. His speech at the next school competition received loud applause, and he felt a surge of pride. One day, Ethan reflected on his journey. He remembered the days when English seemed impossible to learn and smiled at how far he had come. His love for learning English had grown, and he was eager to continue exploring the language. Conclusion: Ethan's story shows that learning English is a journey that requires patience, practice, and perseverance. Starting with activities you enjoy, like reading, listening to music, or watching movies in English, can make the process fun and engaging. Keeping a vocabulary journal, practicing speaking with friends, and seeking support from teachers or clubs can also help you improve steadily. Most importantly, remember Ethan's lesson. Mistakes are not failures. They are opportunities to learn and grow. No matter where you are in your journey, believe in yourself and keep moving forward. Just like Ethan, you can achieve success and discover the joy of learning English. Ethan's next adventure. With his newfound confidence in English, Ethan decided to explore even more ways to use the language. He realized that learning English wasn't just about studying, it was also about using it in real-life situations. And one sunny afternoon, while browsing the internet at the town library, Ethan came across a website for pen pals. The idea of having a friend from another country excited him. With Miss Clara's help, he created a profile and wrote a simple introduction. Hi, my name is Ethan. I am 12 years old and I live in a small town. I like reading books, playing soccer, and learning English. I would love to have a friend to practice English with. And within days, Ethan received a reply from a boy named Sam who lived in England. Sam wrote, Hello Ethan. My name is Sam and I'm 12 years old too. I like playing video games, reading about history, and eating pizza. Let's be friends. And making a friend. Across the world, Ethan and Sam began exchanging emails every week. At first, Ethan was nervous about making mistakes, but Sam's friendly tone encouraged him to keep writing. They shared stories about their daily lives, favorite hobbies, and even taught each other new words. For example, Ethan taught Sam the word sunshine in his native language, while Sam explained what biscuit meant in British English. To improve his writing skills further, Ethan decided to write longer messages. He described his town, the festivals they celebrated, and the games he played with his friends. Every time Sam replied, Ethan learned new expressions and phrases. This practice made English feel more natural and enjoyable. Then, discovering the joy of storytelling, one day, Sam shared a story he had written for his school project. It was about a brave knight who rescued a princess from a dragon. Ethan was amazed by Sam's creativity and decided to try writing his own story in English. His first story was simple but heartfelt. It was about a young boy who traveled through a magical forest to find a lost treasure. Ethan shared his story with Miss Clara, who praised his efforts and suggested small edits to improve the flow and grammar. Inspired by Miss Clara's encouragement, Ethan started a storytelling club at school. He invited his classmates to write and share stories in English. They took turns reading their stories aloud, helping each other with pronunciation and offering constructive feedback. The club became a hit, and soon more students joined and exploring English. Through travel and a year later, Ethan's parents surprised him with exciting news. They had planned a family trip to England during the summer holidays. Ethan was thrilled. He couldn't wait to meet Sam in person and explore a country where English was the native language. When Ethan arrived in England, Sam's family welcomed them warmly. The boy spent days visiting famous landmarks like the Tower of London and Big Ben. Ethan practiced speaking English with Sam's friends, who were curious about life in Ethan's country. They taught him local slang, and Ethan impressed them with his growing vocabulary. And one evening, while having dinner, Ethan thanked Sam's family for their hospitality. You to have one see your kindness means so much to me. This trip has been the best part of my life. And quoted, he said, his heart full of gratitude. Everyone applauded his effort, and Ethan felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Chandan, undertaken a lifelong love for learning and indigenous and returning home, Ethan's passion for English only grew stronger. He set new goals to read classic novels, watch English movies without subtitles, and even write a book someday. His journey inspired his younger sister, Lily, who had also started learning English. Together, they played word games and practiced conversations at home. Ethan's story became a source of inspiration in his community. Parents often asked Miss Clara how their children could learn English as effectively as Ethan did. She always replied with a smile, "It's about finding joy in the process and never giving up." His first book, titled Adventures Across the World, was a collection of stories inspired by his experiences. In the introduction, he wrote, "Anchin learning English opened doors to friendships, adventures, and dreams I never thought possible." To everyone starting their journey, remember, every word you learn is a step closer to a world full of possibilities. Believe in yourself and keep going. You know one door. Any than you. 2019's journey didn't you 2019 T just teach him English. It taught him resilience, creativity, and the beauty of connecting with others. And as he held his book in his hands, he smiled, knowing that the little boy who once struggled with English had grown into someone who could inspire others. Jakanan Nananda into 2014, or perhaps just the beginning for anyone ready to start their own English learning adventure. Ethan's story continues to inspire and show how persistence and a love for learning can make dreams come true. Let me know if you'd like more details or additions to his adventures. Ethan's journey didn't stop with becoming a writer. He had learned that language is a bridge that connects people, and he wanted to build more bridges. His passion for English and storytelling led him to explore other opportunities to share his knowledge and inspire others. Starting an online community. As Ethan grew older, technology advanced, and online platforms became a hub for learning and communication. Ethan decided to create a blog where he could share his experiences, tips, and advice on learning English. He called it Ethan's English Adventures. The blog included simple, relatable stories about his own struggles and successes. He wrote posts about how to make learning fun, shared resources like his favorite books and movies, and even posted short videos teaching common phrases. His friendly tone and encouraging words attracted readers from around the world. Many left comments, thanking him for his inspiration. One day, Ethan received an email from a young girl in Brazil. She wrote, "And then, dear Ethan, and then Jandan and I was scared to learn English because I thought it was too hard. Then I found your blog and started reading your stories. Now I practice every day using your tips, and I feel more confident. Thank you for helping me believe in myself." Then Ethan's heart swelled with pride. Knowing that his journey was making a difference in others' lives motivated him to do more. Teaching workshops. Ethan decided to take his passion offline and started organizing workshops in his town. He partnered with local schools and community centers to teach English to children and adults. His workshops were interactive and fun, with storytelling, games, and group activities that encouraged everyone to participate. One of Ethan's favorite activities was called Act It Out. Participants were given short English scripts to perform in front of the group. This helped them practice speaking with confidence and made learning enjoyable. Ethan often said, "The best way to learn is to have fun while doing it." The workshops became so popular that neighboring towns invited him to conduct similar sessions. Ethan's efforts didn't just teach English, they brought communities closer together. Exploring new languages, Ethan realized that learning a language wasn't just about mastering grammar and vocabulary, it was also about understanding culture. He decided to expand his horizons by learning other languages. He started with Spanish, inspired by the stories of some of his blog readers. As he learned Spanish, Ethan experienced the same struggles he had faced with English years ago. But this time, he approached it with patience and determination. He joined online classes, practiced with native speakers, and immersed himself in Spanish music and movies. His journey reminded him of the importance of persistence and the joy of discovering something new. A global English club, Ethan's dream of connecting people through language, took a new turn when he launched an online global English club. The club brought together people from different countries to practice English, share their cultures, and build friendships. Members participated in virtual meetups, where they discussed topics ranging from favorite books to world events. Ethan encouraged everyone to share their stories just as he had done. The club became a safe space where members learned not just English, but also about each other's traditions and values. One member, Ahmed from Egypt, said during a meeting, "Before joining this club, I was shy to speak English. Now I have friends from around the world, and I feel more confident every day." Inspiring the next generation. Ethan's dedication to spreading the joy of learning English caught the attention of educators and policymakers. He was invited to speak at international conferences and share his methods for making language learning accessible and fun. His speeches were filled with personal anecdotes, humor, and encouragement. At one conference, a young teacher asked Ethan, "What's the most important lesson you've learned from your journey?" Ethan smiled and replied, "The most important lesson is that language is not just a tool. It's a gift. It helps us connect, share, and understand each other. No matter how hard it seems, keep learning, because every word you learn brings you closer to a new friend, a new idea, or a new opportunity." Writing his legacy. Ethan's passion for storytelling eventually led him to write a second book, Bridges of Words, Connecting Through Language. In this book, he shared inspiring stories of people he had met through his blog, workshops, and global English club. The book became a bestseller, touching the hearts of readers worldwide. In the final chapter, Ethan wrote, "I understand. When I was a boy, I thought learning English was impossible. But through patience, practice, and the support of wonderful people, I discovered that it was more than possible. It was life-changing." To anyone reading this, know that your journey is unique, and it's never too late to start. Embrace the adventure and let language open doors you never imagined. A never-ending adventure. Ethan's journey continues to this day. Whether it's through writing, teaching, or connecting with new friends, he remains committed to sharing the joy of learning. His story is proof that no matter where you start, with effort and a positive mindset, you can achieve incredible things. And so, Ethan's adventure with English became a lifelong mission to inspire others, proving that language is truly a bridge to the world. Would you like me to explore any specific part of Ethan's continuing journey or develop new aspects of his story? Ethan's impact grows. Globally, his blog and Global English Club reached millions, sparking collaboration with schools, organizations, and governments. Ethan began traveling to countries where access to English education was limited. His mission? To make learning English fun, accessible, and meaningful for everyone. Erstmals das not out das to Andre. Bringing English to rural communities and taught him on Ethan's travels brought him to rural villages where children had never heard English spoken before. He realized that these communities needed more than just textbooks. They needed creative ways to engage with the language. Settled in one small village in Southeast Asia, Ethan worked with local teachers to create an English learning program that combined storytelling, songs, and games. Every evening, the children gathered under a large banyan tree to hear Ethan tell tales of adventures around the world. He used props, gestures, and simple words, making it easy for the children to follow along. One little girl, Emina, approached Ethan after a session and said in halting English, "Thank you for stories. I want to speak like you one day." Ethan smiled and replied, "You will, Amina. Just keep practicing and believing in yourself." Ananya, Nanana, creating a global curriculum Nan inspired by his experiences, Ethan partnered with educators and linguists to develop a global English curriculum called Learning Through Stories. The curriculum included mission story-based learning, simple, relatable tales to teach vocabulary and grammar, dandanan, interactive activities, role-playing, group discussions and creative writing prompts, and cultural exchange. Stories and customs from different countries to promote understanding and curiosity. The program was translated into multiple languages and adopted by schools worldwide. Ethan was thrilled to see children and adults alike embracing English through his stories. Nanstionaana Batua. A special reunion on one day, Ethan received an invitation from Sam, his childhood pen pal from England. Sam was now a teacher and wanted Ethan to visit his school to inspire his students. Excited, Ethan traveled to England to reconnect with his old friend. When Ethan arrived, Sam greeted him with a warm hug. "It's amazing to see how far you've come, Ethan," Sam said. "You've touched so many lives." Janet, and during his visit, Ethan gave a talk to Sam's students, sharing his journey and emphasizing the importance of perseverance. He encouraged them to find joy in learning and not fear making mistakes. The students were inspired, and many stayed after the talk to ask him questions and share their own dreams. And tweeted that, the language of unity and Ethan's work took on a new dimension when he was invited to the United Nations to speak about the role of language in fostering peace and understanding. Standing before representatives from around the world, Ethan shared, language is more than words. It is the thread that weaves humanity together. When we learn to speak each other's languages, we learn to understand each other's hearts. English, like any language, is a bridge that can unite us in friendship, cooperation, and hope. Then his speech received a standing ovation. Ethan was later invited to collaborate with international organizations to create language programs for refugees and marginalized communities. One day, he wrote letters to Miss Clara, Sam, and the members of his childhood English conversation club, thanking them for their encouragement and kindness. Miss Clara replied with a heartfelt note. "Ethan, your journey has been a testament to the power of dedication and community. You've turned your struggles into a source of inspiration for the world. I couldn't be prouder." Nananya was building a legacy now to ensure his work would continue to benefit future generations. Ethan established the Ethan's Bridges Foundation. The foundation focused on providing free English resources to underprivileged communities and training teachers to use innovative, story-based teaching methods, and then supporting cultural exchange programs for students worldwide. And through the foundation, Ethan mentored young leaders who shared his passion for language education. He often told them, "The torch is now in your hands. Use it to light up paths for others." There is no man in Valu. A full circle Bannon years later, Ethan returned to his hometown to celebrate the opening of a new community library. The library featured a special section called Ethan's Corner, filled with English books, games, and resources. During the ceremony, Ethan spoke to the children gathered there. "Then, when I was your age, I sat in this very town, struggling to learn English. I never imagined it would take me on such a wonderful journey. Remember, every small step you take today can lead to amazing places tomorrow. Keep learning, keep dreaming, and never give up." Janda. The children cheered, and Ethan felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had come full circle, giving back to the community where his journey began. In conclusion, a life of connection and Ethan's story reminds us that learning a language is not just about mastering words. It's about building bridges, embracing diversity, and creating connections. His journey from a struggling student to a global advocate for language education is a testament to the power of persistence, passion, and kindness. Though Ethan's journey had many milestones, it was never truly finished. For him, every new word, every new friend, and every new story was another chapter in a lifelong adventure of learning and sharing. Yes, Nan, And so, Ethan's story continues, carried forward by everyone he inspired to pick up a book, write a story, or say hello in a new language. If you'd like to add more adventures, explore new aspects of Ethan's journey, or focus on specific lessons he learned, let me know. Ethan's mission expands language as a tool for empathy. As Ethan delved deeper into the powers of language, he began to see it as more than just a means of communication. It was a tool for empathy and understanding. He realized that the ability to share stories, dreams, and struggles across cultures could create profound connections between people. Creating Stories That Heal, Ethan started a new project called Stories That Heal, which aimed to bring communities together through storytelling. He traveled to areas affected by conflict, poverty, or natural disasters, where language barriers often prevented people from fully expressing their experiences. In one refugee camp in Greece, Ethan met children who had fled their homes due to war. Though many of them spoke different languages, he used simple English combined with gestures and drawings to help them share their stories. One boy, Karim, shyly narrated how he missed playing soccer in his village. Ethan turned his story into a short English tale about a boy who finds a new team in a strange land. When Karim read the story aloud to his friends, their faces lit up with recognition and joy. Ethan later said, "Sometimes the first step to healing is knowing that someone understands your story." Innovating with technology. Ethan embraced modern technology to expand the reach of his work. He partnered with software developers to create an app called Bridge Words. The app provided a platform where users could learn English through interactive storytelling, games, and cultural exchanges. Key features: global connections. Users could partner with language learners from other countries to practice conversations. AI Story Companion, an intelligent assistant that helped users craft and edit their own stories in English. Cultural capsules, short videos about traditions, food, and festivals from around the world narrated in English. The app became wildly popular, especially among young learners. Ethan was thrilled to see children in remote villages using smartphones to read stories and improve their English. Meeting world leaders. Ethan's dedication to using language as a bridge didn't go unnoticed. He was invited to international summits to discuss how education and language learning could promote peace and unity. At one summit, Ethan met a Nobel Peace Prize laureate who praised his efforts. The laureate said, "Your work proves that communication is the first step toward reconciliation. When people understand each other, they can build a better future together." Ethan was humbled and inspired. He knew his mission was more important than ever. Ethan's family joins the journey. Ethan's younger sister Lily, who had grown up watching his journey, decided to follow in his footsteps. Now a linguist, she began developing programs to teach English to indigenous communities while preserving their native languages. Together, they launched a campaign called Speak and Preserve, which emphasized the importance of bilingual education. Ethan often said, "Every language is a treasure. By learning English, we gain a tool to connect with the world. By preserving our native languages, we keep our roots alive." The Global Language Village, one of Ethan's most ambitious dreams, became a reality when he founded the Global Language Village. Located in a serene countryside, the village was a place where people from around the world could come together to learn languages, share cultures, and build friendships. The village offered immersive language courses taught through storytelling and role-playing. Cultural festivals celebrating the traditions of different countries. Collaborative projects where participants solved real-world challenges using English. Visitors often describe the village as magical, a place where barriers dissolved and connections flourished. The final chapters of his book. As Ethan grew older, he decided to write his final book, The Bridges We Build. In this deeply personal memoir, he reflected on the lessons he had learned from his journey. Mistakes are teachers. Every mistake is a chance to learn and grow. Never fear them. Language unites. Words have the power to connect hearts, no matter how different our lives may seem. Dream big. Start small but dream big. The smallest steps can lead to the grandest adventures. Ethan dedicated the book to Miss Clara, Sam, and all the friends he had made along the way. A life well lived, Ethan continued his mission well into his golden years. Even when he wasn't traveling, he would host virtual story sessions with children around the world, often saying, "No matter how old I get, there's always a new story to tell." One day, during a session, a little girl asked, "Mr. Ethan, what's your favorite English word?" Ethan paused and smiled. "It's hope. Because learning a new language is an act of hope, a hope for understanding, connection, and a brighter future." As the session ended, Ethan looked out of his window, watching the sun set over the horizon. His heart was full, knowing that his journey had touched countless lives and that the bridges he built would continue to inspire generations to come. Would you like me to add even more details or explore a particular phase of Ethan's journey? Ethan's New Horizons, Beyond Language. As Ethan's work touched more lives, he began to see that learning a language was only part of a larger journey. It was about fostering global citizenship, empathy, and resilience. Inspired by this realization, he shifted his focus to empowering people to use their language skills to create meaningful change in their communities. Empowering the youth, Ethan launched a new initiative called Voices for Change, aimed at equipping young people with the tools to advocate for issues they cared about using English. Through workshops and online courses, participants learned how to write compelling essays, deliver powerful speeches, and create digital campaigns in English. In one of the workshops, a teenager named Maya from India stood up and shared her vision of reducing plastic waste in her community. With Ethan's guidance, Maya wrote a speech in English and delivered it at an international youth summit. Her words inspired attendees to pledge support for eco-friendly initiatives. Ethan often told his students, "Your voice matters. When you speak with clarity and conviction, the world listens." A journey to the Arctic, one of Ethan's most memorable adventures, was his trip to the Arctic Circle, where he worked with indigenous communities to document their stories in English while preserving their native languages. Ethan learned about the challenges these communities faced due to climate change and felt a deep sense of responsibility to amplify their voices. Working closely with local elders, Ethan helped translate their oral histories into English. These stories were shared globally through books and videos, raising awareness about the urgent need to protect their environment and culture. During a farewell gathering, an elder named Anik said, "Ethan, you have given our stories wings. Now they can fly beyond these icy lands and touch the hearts of the world." A world of friends, Ethan's Global English Club expanded into a network of physical hubs in major cities, where members could meet in person to practice English, exchange ideas, and celebrate cultural diversity. Each hub was named Ethan's Bridge, symbolizing his lifelong mission. At the inaugural event in Tokyo, Ethan addressed the audience. "Today we stand on bridges built not with steel or stone, but with words and understanding. These are the bridges that bring the world closer." People from different walks of life shared how learning English had opened doors for them, from pursuing higher education to starting businesses to simply making friends across the globe. The next generation takes the torch. Ethan's legacy inspired countless educators and leaders who shared his vision. One of his mentees, a young woman named Sofia from Argentina, took Ethan's methods to new heights by integrating them into virtual reality, VR learning environments. In these VR classrooms, students could explore a simulated English-speaking city, practice conversations with AI characters, and even attend storytelling sessions hosted by avatars of Ethan. The immersive experience made learning English more engaging and accessible than ever before. Ethan was deeply moved when Sophia told him, "You've shown us what's possible. Now it's our turn to carry the torch." A lifetime of gratitude. As Ethan reflected on his life, he decided to write personal letters to the people who had been instrumental in shaping his journey. Each letter expressed his heartfelt gratitude and shared how their support had rippled outward to impact millions. One letter went to Miss Clara, who had long since retired. Ethan wrote, "Dear Miss Clara, your encouragement planted the seed of belief in me when I was just a boy. That seed has grown into a forest of connections and possibilities. Thank you for believing in a struggling kid with a dream." Miss Clara's reply brought tears to his eyes. "Dear Ethan, I always knew you had a spark within you. Watching it light up the world has been the greatest joy of my life." The final storytelling session. In his twilight years, Ethan announced that he would host one last global storytelling session. People from every corner of the world tuned in to hear him speak. Ethan shared a story about a small boy who struggled with English but discovered its magic through persistence, kindness, and curiosity. At the end of the story, Ethan looked into the camera and said, "That boy was me. And this journey has been my greatest story." But it doesn't end here. Each of you has a story to tell, and the world is waiting to hear it. So go out there, keep learning, keep sharing, and keep building bridges. As the session ended, a flood of messages from viewers poured in, expressing gratitude and promising to continue his mission. Ethan's legacy lives on. When Ethan passed away peacefully at the age of 85, his life was celebrated worldwide. Schools, libraries, and organizations held events in his honor, sharing his stories and carrying forward his message of connection and understanding. The Ethan's Bridges Foundation thrived, led by passionate educators and learners inspired by his work. They introduced new programs, including scholarships for underprivileged students and international cultural exchange trips. Ethan's story became a source of inspiration for generations, proving that one person's dedication can create ripples that touch the entire world. Would you like to explore further details about Ethan's legacy, his family, or any particular part of his story?